Good evening. A coroner's jury in Victoria has made 14 recommendations aimed at preventing the Oak Bay murder-suicide from happening again. 38-year-old Peter Lee stabbed to death his young son, his wife, and her parents before he killed himself September 2007. It was a chilling case of domestic violence, and despite a 19-month delay between the first and second parts of this inquest, the jury paid close attention to the testimony. The question tonight: how much attention will the government give the changes that the jurors have recommended?
With the murderer dead by his own hand, there was no trial for Peter Lee. Instead, a coroner's inquest that spread over 2 years investigated every aspect of the tragedy and the events leading up to it, with an eye to preventing future domestic violence killings. Today, those 5 jurors came back with their verdict and recommendations. The jury came back with 14 recommendations, everything from more money for public awareness campaigns around domestic violence to specific changes to the criminal code. Among the most important, that a domestic violence suspect's assessment of risk to his victim and the community be done before he is granted bail. That to get out on bail, a suspect must find someone, known as a surety, to take responsibility for him, and that the surety be properly screened by authorities. And that suspects with no fixed address be denied bail unless they agree to GPS monitoring. Recommendations important to the jury because Peter Lee was out on bail and facing criminal charges the morning of September 4th, 2007. That's when he broke into the family home at 310 King George Terrace in Oak Bay, killing his wife Sunny, his son Christian, and Sunny's parents in a stabbing frenzy before turning the knife on himself.
They were obviously very informed and a jury that was listening carefully to the evidence, and I'm delighted with these recommendations.
The jury also called on the government to create unified regional domestic violence units, similar to one Victoria Police proposed for the South Island last year, made up of police, Crown, and social workers. But will the recommendations bring real change? After all, witness after witness called for more money, better coordination, and resources from the province to fight domestic violence. But the BC government's not committing to anything yet.
We'll have to look at the recommendations of the jury and determine which are appropriate for the branch to act upon.
Give the government time, says the inquest coroner.
We'll allow them an opportunity to consider their own policies and procedures, and we're going to allow them the proper time to give us an appropriate response.
But anti-violence advocates say this province has had time enough.
I would hope that the deaths of 5 people in this fashion would motivate the government to really do something about this. This shook the community, it shook the country, and I hope it shakes the government.
In Victoria, Shachi Curl, A News.